You know that feeling, just completely overwhelmed by information, constantly being pulled everywhere, and you're just looking for something solid, something that actually helps you grow.
No.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. In this deep dive, we're really focusing on mindfulness, specifically how being aware of the present moment, how that can be this amazing tool for your growth.
Absolutely. And we've designed this to be, well, a bit of a shortcut for you.
Yeah.
To really get mindfulness, we've looked at a lot of different sources, trying to boil it down to what's truly important. And, it's not just about calm down. It's actually a much deeper way of being, of engaging with life.
Okay, so let's start with something that really jumped out at me. A 2024 study. Get this. 70% of people actually prefer things like meditation, yoga, exercise, lifestyle medicine for mental health stuff. And here's the kicker, they often end up using conventional treatments first. Why is that? What did the sources say?
Yeah, that's a really key point. The sources suggest that even though people want the lifestyle approach, conventional treatments are often seen as, well, easier somehow, or maybe faster. But the irony is, as our sources highlight, those traditional routes can be expensive or take up a ton of time. So they actually create barriers,
Right, and that's where mindfulness techniques come in, offering a real alternative, because they're accessible.
Exactly. Super accessible. They're genuinely easy to pick up, don't demand huge amounts of time, and crucially, they're free. Think about anxiety, right? Anxious thoughts, they're almost never in the present moment. They're either replaying regrets from the past or rehearsing fears about the future. One source beautifully described it as like a small boat being tossed on choppy waves.
That's a great image.
It is. And so learning to stay present, it helps your emotional health. You start facing challenges with centered awareness, not just reacting out of anxiety. It's so important to understand that most fears, most anxieties, they aren't really based on what's happening now. They're more like stories, stories you're telling yourself.
Okay, so if your mind's bouncing between yesterday and tomorrow, how do you actually, pull it back? Our sources talk about grounding techniques, like an immediate fix for that scattered feeling, to get clarity. We'll get into things like breath work and meditation too, but grounding sounds like a good first step.
It really is. And one of the most well-known and honestly easiest is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. What's so effective about it, and the sources really stress this, is how it just hijacks that anxious spiral. It forces your attention onto your senses right now. So first, you find 5 things you can see, and not just big stuff. Look for details, like a tiny spot on the ceiling or the exact color of the carpet flex. Really notice.
Okay, 5 things I see. Got it.
Then, 4 things you can actually feel. Focus on the physical sensations. Maybe the texture of your sleeve, the ground under your feet, perhaps your hair touching your neck. Temperature, texture.
Right. Feel. 4 things.
Next, 3 things you can hear. Listen for sounds outside yourself. Maybe it's distant traffic, a bird chirping, the hum of a fridge, something external.
3 sounds. Okay.
Then 2 things you can smell. You might need to get a bit creative here. Maybe the faint scent of soap, or if you're near a window, what's outside. Even just the air in the room.
2 smells. Tricky sometimes.
It can be. And finally, one thing you can taste. Is there maybe a lingering taste of coffee? Or toothpaste? Or just notice the inside of your mouth. You could even just quickly recall the taste of your favorite food. This whole sequence, it's like a direct line into your nervous system. It forces your brain to deal with now.
That sounds incredibly practical. Just boom, back in the room. Are there other quick grounding methods the sources mention for when your thoughts are just racing?
Oh, definitely. Beyond just the senses, there's what our sources call mental grounding. This uses your thinking brain differently, like memory games. You could look closely at a picture for a few seconds, then try to recreate all the details in your mind. Or thinking categories. Try listing all the types of fruit you can think of. Or musical instruments. The effort it takes kind of crowds out the anxiety.
Interesting. Using the mind to calm the mind. And then there's soothing grounding, too. That sounds gentler, like visualizing someone you care about or repeating calming words. Here, now, okay. Or even small movements like pressing your palms together, tapping your feet.
Exactly. Holding something solid can work too.
Yeah.
And a really key part of this, which our sources emphasize, is focused breathing. Slow, deep breaths, especially making the exhale longer than the inhale. That sends a direct signal to your body. Hey, you're safe. You can relax. It's like hitting a physiological reset button.
Okay, so these are great tools for those moments of overwhelm, quick resets. But what about building something more foundational? A way to be less thrown off by life in the first place. This seems to be where Jon Kabat-Zinn's work comes in, right?
Yes, precisely. Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's often called the father of mindfulness in the West. mostly because he developed the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program, MBSR, way back in 1979 at UMass Medical Center. And our sources are clear. MBSR is really grounded in what they call mind-body medicine.
Hmm.
It's deliberately not religious, not esoteric. The whole point is just helping people tap into their own ability to, well, enhance their own health, their own well-being.
And MBSR isn't just a quick workshop, is it? It's quite involved. What does it actually look like?
Right, it's a commitment. It's an 8-week program. Usually there are weekly group classes, about 2 hours long, plus daily homework. That's around 45 minutes of guided meditation or mindful yoga, and maybe 15 minutes of shorter awareness exercises integrated into daily life. And there's also an all-day retreat, usually around week 6. It's immersive.
Wow. Okay. So what are the core practices they teach in MBSR?
One of the main ones is the body scan. You basically guide your attention systematically through your entire body, toe to head, just noticing sensations without judgment. Where's there tension? Warmth? Numbness? This really helps develop what's called proprioception, which is like our sixth sense, the sense of actually having a body, knowing where it is in space. It sounds basic, but it's vital. One source mentions Oliver Sacks writing about a patient, Christina, who tragically lost this sense. She described her body as feeling blind and deaf to itself. The body scan helps us reconnect.
That's profound, reclaiming that connection. What else is key in MBSR?
Well, there's also mindful hatha yoga, but it's not about achieving pretzel poses. It's gentle stretching, with the focus entirely on awareness of the body, noticing how sensations change. This helps with balance, flexibility, sure, but mostly it builds that calm body awareness. And then, of course, there's sitting meditation and breath work. This is where you really cultivate that moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness, often using the breath as an anchor.
Non-judgmental awareness. That sounds simple, but probably isn't easy.
It takes practice. And that relates to Kabat-Zinn's whole philosophy about thoughts.
Yes.
It's fascinating. He says thoughts are like weather patterns in the sky of the mind. They come, they go. They aren't necessarily true or you. Mindfulness helps you disidentify from them, observe them without getting swept away. It frees you from your own biases, lets you just watch. And he has this powerful idea. There's no place to go, no better moment than now. There's nothing to do, no special something that you need to attain. That realization, it's liberating. It lets you feel at home, right here, in yourself, as you are.
Wow. Okay, that idea that there's nothing missing, nothing to chase, that really shifts perspective. And it makes sense why mindfulness has gained so much traction, moving from, the fringes to the mainstream, especially now with all the scientific research backing it up. It's clearly not just some fad.
Not at all. The evidence is pretty compelling now, and it's growing. Let's talk benefits. For stress and anxiety, the research shows mindfulness actually reduces cortisol. That's the main stress hormone. It calms down the HPA, acts as your body's central stress command center, basically turns down the alarm. It measurably decreases worry, rumination, general anxiety symptoms. Some studies even suggest MBSR can be as effective as meds or therapy for anxiety.
As effective. That's significant.
It is. Then there's emotional regulation. Mindfulness literally enhances your ability to manage your emotions. It's linked to decreased activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Helps with social anxiety, for example. And it boosts something called cognitive reappraisal. That's your ability to reframe situations, see them differently so they have less emotional punch. With long-term practice, you can even develop more non-appraisal and equanimity, just observing feelings without getting hooked. A deep, stable calm.
So it's not just feeling better, it's actually changing how your brain handles emotions.
Exactly. And the changes are structural too. For cognitive function and brain changes. Our sources show mindfulness leads to real shifts in brain function and architecture. It literally rewires things. You see improvements in attention span, memory, executive functions, planning, decision-making. Experienced meditators often show more gamma wave activity, which is linked to insight and high-level awareness, and better functional connectivity, different brain regions working together more efficiently.
So it makes your brain work better, essentially.
In many ways, yes. And think about physical health conditions too. Mindfulness helps reduce pain perception, including chronic pain, even cancer-related pain. Though, importantly, it's not a standalone cure for severe conditions. It improves sleep quality, helps with insomnia, manages psychosocial issues linked to chronic illness, reduces distress in cancer patients. The list goes on.
And how does it tie into changing habits, like breaking bad patterns?
Great question. That falls under behavior change and self-regulation. Mindfulness can help manage things like binge eating or emotional eating by becoming aware of triggers and urges without automatically acting on them. It's even shown promise in helping people quit smoking by reducing cravings and interrupting those automatic, ingrained patterns. Ultimately, it helps build, as one source puts it, a more coherent and healthy sense of self. And crucially, self-compassion, learning to be kinder to yourself through the process.
That really paints a picture of mindfulness as this fundamental human capacity, doesn't it? Something anyone can tap into. I remember hearing about the raisin exercise they do in MBSR, where you spend ages just looking at, smelling, tasting a single raisin mindfully. It sounds so simple, but in our totally distracted world, just paying full attention to one tiny thing, that's powerful training.
It really is. A micro practice with macro effects.
So, what does all this mean for you listening right now? I think it means building this inner confidence, the confidence that maybe you don't always need a script for life. You can learn to trust your ability to just be present, respond authentically, spontaneously.
And Kabat-Zinn takes it even further. He talks about mindfulness not just for personal well-being, but almost as a political act, which raises a huge question, right? How can individual awareness possibly help with massive global problems? Things like greed, hatred, delusion, societal division.
Yeah, how does that connect?
Well, he argued it's a way to challenge that lethal using and emming, that tendency to divide the world, by encouraging us to look deeper, to inquire into our shared commonality, our shared humanity, the goal being to minimize harm on every level and maximize well-being and happiness and safety for everyone. And we're actually seeing mindfulness move into government, into politics. There are initiatives in Europe. One source even mentioned the vice premier of Belgium talking openly about her own practice. He sees it as vital for navigating our current age, this digital revolution, with its constant distractions. It's about reclaiming our attention to, as he says, know ourselves, loving ourselves, and making a good world together.
That's a big vision. It's important, though, like you said earlier, to add a quick note of caution. Mindfulness is amazing, clearly, but it isn't a magic cure-all. It shouldn't replace professional medical help, especially for serious things like severe anxiety or PTSD. Always consult professionals first. And the science, while strong and growing, is still evolving. More rigorous research is always good. But wrapping up, what we've explored today really underscores how powerful paying attention to the present moment can be. It's a fundamental tool for your growth managing stress, understanding yourself better, maybe even contributing to a slightly better world.
Exactly. So maybe just a final thought to leave you with. What would it feel like to truly inhabit your own life, moment by moment? By moment, to really recognize this incredible capacity for awareness that you already have right now. How might your experience change if you reclaim your body, your mind, from just being taken for granted? What would it be like to feel truly at home